As a digital marketing professional or social media manager, have you ever found yourself in a position where you have to justify the work that you do, especially to senior manager and the executive? Or are you new in the industry and looking for help with regards to the most important social media metrics that will help you stand out in front of your peers, colleagues, and your manager? Well, on this episode, I'll be taking you through the most important social media metrics worth knowing. To start off with, I'll touch on what metrics really are. Secondly, I'll delve into why they're even important. Lastly, I'll introduce a 4-stage social media funnel that will help you understand the different metrics better and also digest them easier. If you've been in the marketing space for quite a while, I'm sure you've noticed keywords such as KPIs, metrics, measurements, and dimensions loosely thrown around. And the thing is, some of these keywords, or rather phrases, are even used interchangeably. And the sad thing is that some marketing professionals either don't understand the difference between these terms or are completely uninformed. But you know what? Delving into the differences of these different keywords or phrases is a topic for another day. Today, let's focus on metrics. And to start off with, we look at what metrics really are. And really, to put it simply, metrics are a quantifiable way to track performance. They measure the effects of your social media efforts on your audience action. So, if you think of it, the most appropriate metrics vary greatly from one social media platform or from one campaign to the next. But in general, they measure the effects of your campaign on your audience action. And the most important thing that you need to take away from this is that metrics are a quantifiable way to track performance. And then most of you might already know a couple of metrics, and I'll just go through a few of them that we might all be aware of. To start off with, when we look at search engine optimization, we look at metrics such as keyword average rankings, keyword search volume, and organic traffic. And then when you move over to content marketing, we will look at metrics such as blog traffic, amount of content shared, content downloads, qualified leads through lead generation forms. And furthermore, when we look at website, we look at metrics such as total traffic, bounce rate, users, time spent on page or on the website, and traffic sources. And lastly, other metrics that I believe that you might be more familiar with are email metrics. So open rate, the number of times an email has been opened, the number of times it has been forwarded, opt-ins and opt-outs. But one thing that I'll keep stressing throughout the video is that metrics are a quantifiable way to track performance. All of these metrics mentioned here are all based on them being a quantifiable way to track performance. So if you look at website traffic, this metric is used to track performance. Email open rate tracks performance. Blog content downloads also track performance. And organic traffic also tracks performance of your SEO efforts, your content marketing efforts, your website optimization efforts, and also your email efforts. But one important thing that has been lingering on the minds of most people that I've spoken to regarding metric is, okay, cool, I understand all these different metrics. I have used a couple of them. I have reported on a few of them, but why are they even important, beside them being a quantifiable way of tracking performance? And my simple answer has always been that metrics tell us whether our social media efforts or our digital marketing efforts are good enough to meet our target audience needs, or whether changes need to be made. So if you backtrack a bit, metrics being a quantifiable way to track performance, when we track the performance, we track for the sole purpose of gauging if whether our efforts are meeting our customers' needs. That is the most important thing about metrics. We're not only tracking performance just for the fun of it, but we're tracking to gauge if whether the efforts that we spend time in are meeting our customers' needs, and if changes need to be made. If we are sponsoring a post on Facebook or on LinkedIn or on Twitter, we track that performance to see if whether our efforts are reaching our goals. If not, what needs to be changed? Are we changing the creative? Are we changing the copy? Are we changing the target audience to make sure that we reach our audience needs at the right time, in the right place, in the right manner? So metrics being quantifiable help us to be able to recheck and adjust all our efforts online so that we speak to the right people at the right time and the right manner. And for the purpose of this episode, I'll focus on 5 key customer journey stages. And these 5 key customer journey stages will help you understand metrics better and digest them even much more easier. So to start off with, the first stage will be the awareness stage. Awareness stage has its own list of metrics that fall under the awareness stage, and those metrics are called awareness metrics. And the second stage will be the engagement stage. Under the engagement stage, you'll have engagement metrics. Thirdly, you'll have conversion, and under the conversion stage, you'll have conversion metrics. And fourthly, you'll have customer stage, and the customer stage will look at customer metrics. And then lastly, which is really a bonus stage for me, and I deem this very, very important, is the customer care stage, which looks at customer metrics. So with metrics being a quantifiable way to track performance, following this stage and looking at metrics that fall under each stage, we will be able to gauge and quantify and track performance of each and every stage of this funnel and each metrics that fall under this funnel. So we'll look at awareness metrics under the awareness stage and gauge and see if whether our efforts on social media are meeting our customers' needs in terms of brand awareness. Again, the same will apply in terms of engagement on social media. And again, looking at conversion, we'll see and quantify and track the performance of our conversion efforts to see if whether we're meeting our customers' needs and if whether they are converting. And the same will apply for customer and customer care stage and the metrics that fall under each and every stage. Without further ado, let's delve a bit deeper into the awareness stage. So awareness stage and the metrics that fall under the awareness stage basically show how aware of your content your current and potential audience is. And metrics under this stage will be reach, impression, social share of voice, and the list goes on and on. But for the purpose of this video, I'll just touch on the definition and give a few examples. In future videos, I'll delve deeper into different awareness metrics, how to track them, how to measure them, and greatly how to report on them. The second stage on the funnel is the engagement stage. So the engagement stage looks at metrics that show how your target audience is interacting with your content. So basically how people are engaging with your content. And to track engagement, we'll look at metrics such as likes, comments, shares, and clicks. And really, the list goes on and on. We can look at retweets, we can look at mentions, we can look at a whole lot of metrics that fall under this stage. And again, I'll delve much more deeper and bring up more metrics that fall under this stage, because engagement metrics are a lot. And in my next video, I'll look at how to also track them, to calculate them, to measure them, and to report on them effectively. Again, each and every metric that you report on, or one that you even embark into a process of tracking, must always be based on the goals and objective of your social media efforts. Now looking at conversions. So the conversion stage looks at conversion metrics. So conversion metrics basically demonstrate the effectiveness of your social media engagement. Basically to see if your engaged audience is taking any action, or basically if your engaged audience is converting. An example here could be conversion rate, click-through rate, bounce rate, cost per click, and so on and so forth. Now, quickly jumping over into customer metrics. So customer metrics basically reflect how active customers think and feel about your brand. So you can look at customer testimonials, or the question people ask on your Facebook, or the comments that people leave, and customer satisfaction and the net promoter score. These metrics will help you understand, engage, and see if whether there needs to be amendments within your customer satisfaction that needs to be made, and how you need to respond to customers. But this metric, or rather this stage, is easily linked to the last stage on the funnel, which is customer care. So once people have become your customers, you need to be able to take care of them so that they become returning customers, instead of having to invest a lot of money in retaining new customers. So customer care metrics shift the perspective completely to understand how you perform concerning your service to customers and clients. So how you perform as a brand, how quickly you respond to queries, the turnaround time, the response rate, and the tone at which you respond to people who ask questions on social media, to complaints which people post on social media. Do you respond fast enough? Do you prioritize important questions, and so on and so forth? And measuring this and tracking this is very important, because you'll be able to see whether certain questions need to be prioritized higher than the others. I deem all of the stages in this funnel and categorize them in terms of metrics, and I deem them very important and the most important metrics worth knowing. And as to what metrics fall under each and every stage, those will be dealt with later. But what I wanted you to understand is that once you understand and look at metrics from this perspective, it'll be much more easier for you to understand, to digest, and easily report on them whenever a question arises, whenever you're running a campaign, or even when you're sharing organic posts on social media. When you approach your efforts in this perspective, it'll be much more easy to report and also to track your effort without wasting too much money and time tracking the wrong metrics. So thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to listen through the video. If you want to get hold of me, my name is Lerato Manareng, and you can visit my website on www.leratomanareng.co.za. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And the version of this video is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast. You can like, comment, share, and don't forget to hit the bell notification on YouTube to be notified every time I share new content.